Good evening, good evening. So it's been a while since the last news video with the MHA previews. It was really kind of quiet on the Jasco front for a while because they were just kind of letting the previews roll out. Had a couple bits of news in there, but not really enough to do a video on. And then we got a lot of news, a whole lot of information about the RLE Season 2 on last week's Wednesday webcam event. But by that point, I've been really wrapped up in some preparation, not only for Kansas City, but for some Final Fantasy XIV stuff I'm doing upcoming. So before I disappear into that for a week, figured I'd get a video in and catch ourselves up. So first things first, we just got back from the Kansas City regional license exam. That was won by Jeffrey Kahn playing Order Fourth Kind. So that's a second RLE out of the last three that's been taken down by a five-hander. You know, certainly a known good deck. He's gotten a lot from League of Villains set, you know, as we've kind of talked about before. Main parts of the top 16, there were two of those fourth kinds. There were three different Giros. There was a traditional air Giro, a staff strike Giro, and a non-staff strike Futures Now Giro, all in the top cuts there, and 6 recovery girls, which is kind of the big story of the event. And, you know, we'll see if that follows suit in the webcam event, or if people don't really want to play that deck on webcam. There's a lot of discard pile searching and things like that. It can be a little bit slower, but you know, we'll see what comes. That webcam event is coming right up this coming weekend, I believe. So, you know, quick turnaround, you know, right ahead of Jasco's next ban announcement, which will be the Tuesday after that. All that aside, some of the things that did come in. So Jasco's trying to push. They want to do an online demo day stream. They want to sort of do a stream demo on Twitch, and that is set for June 10th at 5 p.m. Eastern. That is a Saturday. So that's going to be... So this coming weekend is the RLE. The weekend after that is this online demo day. If you know anybody that's, you know, kind of interested in getting in the game, you have some online friend groups or whatever, you want to share a link out. You know, as usual, I'll link to the article about that in the description. So, you know, check that out. Maybe even hang out and chat and be there to answer people's questions, that sort of thing. The other thing that was announced was that they're doing a promotion with Steve Aoki, who I believe is, you know, some sort of well-known DJ. I'm not very cultured. I don't know these things. But he has a big t-shirt line, and he does this with a bunch of card games. So they're going to do some MHA t-shirts, and if you buy one of those, you will get an MHA promo. It's going to be an alternate art character. I believe they are Deku 4 dot. One of the Bakugos, All Might 2 dot. I'm not sure which Bakugo it is. I think Bakugo 1 dot. But there's some nice looking, you know, alternate art characters you can get if you buy these t-shirts. I believe the t-shirts are $40. The promo you get is random. So, you know, maybe... you know, keep an eye out on the secondary market perhaps and find people selling these promos if you don't want the t-shirts. They should be pretty cheap, or at least they have been for other games. Yeah, so those are out in the wild now. You'll check that out if you're interested. And among other things that Jasco's posted, they've been really posting stuff to that website now, to the news section. So you almost... It does have a point at which it can't show any more articles, so you want to keep up on that a little bit, or else things are going to fall off on you. But they put in a post with links to all the tournament coverage, all the Twitch streams and YouTubes for tournaments in the past. I believe they're uploading most of them to their YouTube. In particular, you can check out the Wednesday weekly webcam pre-shows. If you're not interested in match footage, you'll sometimes get some news on those that you can check out. For instance, there was an interview with Luhan on one of them, for example. But yeah, besides that, they've been doing a bunch of you know, starter deck upgrade articles, some, you know, design profiles of some of the different characters, and, you know, all sorts of stuff like that. Some things that are sort of meant to be there as just sort of introductions to the game that they link out to elsewhere. Some of those aren't really meant for players of the game currently to consume, but there's a bunch of stuff there. You know, the link to that news page is always in the bottom of the description, but if you go to any of the news articles, obviously you'll be able to find your way there on the website. So, all that out of the way, the big news is we got a bunch of information about the second season of RLEs. This is going to be the only other season of RLEs. After this is going to go into the national season, the championship season as they call it. Remains to be seen if they'll do anything besides the championships this time. That was a bit of a sore spot last year, but in any event, for the time being, we have the upcoming schedule through the end of September. On July 15th, there's going to be a webcam regional. July 22nd, they're going to have an in-person event in Auckland, New Zealand. You know, so, you know, if you're out there in the Oceania area, you can, if you can get on a plane, or if you're perhaps directly in New Zealand, That'll be your first chance to go to a big in-person event because the last one got kind of audible to a webcam event. So we'll see what the turnout for that is. August 5th is going to be the Swiss rounds of the tournament at Gen Con Indianapolis. They told us that this tournament was going to exist way back in the roadmap at the start of the year. So that is, obviously going to come to fruition. I don't believe there are event tickets for it on sale yet on Gen Con's website, but I'm sure they'll notify us when those show up. August 19th, 2 weeks later. There's a lot of 2-week spreads between these. It's only a couple in a row, I guess. But anyway, August 19th, they're doing Sheffield in the UK. So they're going to return to Sheffield for a European regional. Seems like they couldn't find anything that they could make happen on the continent, I guess. Or they just, they're really happy. They got 100 people last time, right? Why not run it back? So, that's going to be going on for the EU side of things. And then September 9th, Rochester RLE, right up here, in Western New York. It's a little tricky to fly into, but not too bad. You can fly into Buffalo, which is like an hour away, or fly into Rochester itself. They're both fine options and pretty drivable for a lot of places. So we hope to get a big turnout there. And then September 30th, there's going to be the Las Vegas RLE, and that is going to be the last one. That is going to be the last regional license exam. So the way this lays out, if you're going to be hunting nationals invites, if you're worried that you might not have one come September, then if you're on the east side of the country, you should probably try to make Rochester. If you're on the west side of the country, you should probably try to make Las Vegas. Give yourself that last chance to get a spot with all sorts of trickle down, all sorts of people that already have their invites. So show up to those. You can give yourself a good chance of getting a Nats invite that way. Rochester, we're going to be at Millennium Games' new store. It's not even a hotel because we don't need a hotel because we have Millennium Games, and they're going to have a play area that can easily fit an RLE and then some. We're pretty excited. They're moving into that new space over the summer, so that's going to be really cool. In addition to the schedule itself, we got some details about pricing up above. The prize card this time is going to be Dual Needle Lunge, which is probably not a shock at all. It's the other big ultra rare from the League of Villains set. Looks really good, just like the Vile Season did, so that's going to be pretty cool. But also, they really shored up the promo pricing, kind of doing it in between some of the steps forward they took with Season 1's prize support, but fixing some of the steps back that it took. So the participation characters, those are returning. We are still on the chibis. There are 3 chibi participation characters you will be able to get. It's going to be, for the North American ones that are in person, there's going to be a different chibi for each event. For the webcam and overseas one, I believe you will get one random chibi for entering, and then for side events you'll have a chance to pick one up. And speaking of side events, going a little bit out of order, there's not going to be any more prize wall, no more prize wall tickets or that sort of thing. Entering side events and doing well on side events is just going to award you some of these prize promos directly, instead of dealing with the whole exchange rate and maintaining the wall and sending somebody to go run that the whole weekend. Any people that Jasco sends can spend their time and energy being focused on the tournament this way. So, prize wall was a cool idea, but they really had a hard time, both maintaining it and keeping it, filled with things besides redemption store promos, right, basically. So they're just going to axe that, and maybe it'll come back in some future date, or maybe it'll just be an HLC only thing, that kind of deal. And there's just going to be direct prize promo rewards for the side events now. Check out all the details in the article, link in the description. Also, the number of promos has doubled, give or take. This doesn't... So entering, you'll get the participation promo and one of each of the participations. The participation alternate promos. So you still won't be getting a big pile of 6 or the $50 entry fee or whatever. But you do get the character now, and, as it was before in Season 1, you'll have opportunities to get more participation promos if you're playing in side events, and if you do well, then you'll get some in your prizing. But there are going to be 2 top 64 promos this time and 2 top 32 promos this time, instead of 1 of each. So there's 6 total promos you can get. Some of the top 64, top 32s can be attained through side events, particularly if you win a side event, you can get one, that sort of thing. There's going to be other ways to get them. I forget about the exact shakedown of who goes to what, but there's going to be a lot more different promos this time. It should be good for their value. You're going to get more promos for doing well. I believe at top 16 you start getting more of the participation promos, which is nice because you can't do side events. And in addition to just having 2 different top 64 and top 32 promos, you're going to get a little more copies of them as you go down the chain. You can check that out. You can do your own comparison, but it is much, much nicer. And, outside of, chibi art being, hit or miss with people, the concept, the structure of it is really, really good. They're also additionally doing this funny thing, and they might end up, they might just see how this goes and maybe repeat it for future seasons, but they're doing something they're calling the Raid the RLE promotion because of the Undaunted Raid set. It's basically a list of goals where if you meet 3 of them, you'll get a 3 box. And one of them is to be one of the first 128 who register for an event, which they're probably hoping will help with their pre-registration numbers, because right now there's really no incentive at all to register at any point before like 10 hours before the event. So it's making it really hard on the organizers to really have no idea how many people are actually showing up. So they're going to try and at least try to get the first 128 in the door this way. We'll see how that turns out. There's also a bunch of, like, if you play through the whole event, if you bring a new player to the event, if you play in 2 or more side events, and there's a couple other goals like that you can check out in the article as well. Big post. You should definitely go read all of it. I'm not going to try to cover every last detail of it here, because it'd be quite a bit. But yeah, so go check that out. And that'll wrap it up for us here tonight. So, I'm going to be playing a lot of 14 this week. There's a new Savage tier coming out. So even if stuff goes absolutely bonkers, you probably won't see another video from me for another week plus or so. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Until then, good luck in the webcam to anyone who is playing. And we'll see what the first Tuesday of June brings us, I guess. All right, have a good night.